Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Dear White People Season 1, Episode 5. It's called Chapter 5. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And this one is about Reggie, and I feel a bit silly because I think we were like, oh, is there any characters left that we think we could focus on? And I'd forgotten about Reggie for some reason, even though he's been there in every episode since
I
the first
think
one.
that's it. He's always been there, but he's never been like everyone else who's had an episode has always had like a big moment before.
Yeah, yeah. That said, you say that his moment in the last episode was watching the news report about the kid being shot by a policeman, so it
Yeah.
actually really neatly syncs
Do
up
you know
with.
what? While we're just on that bit, just before the stuff started going on, I was thinking to myself, this is the funniest episode yet. Like there's multiple times I've proper been
Yeah,
laughing,
it's pretty funny. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's not funny anymore.
yeah. All of a sudden, it became the episode you're never going to remember this one because it was funny. Like
Yeah,
that is not what this episode is.
because for a long time I thought I was going to be, oh, like this is the one I'm going, this is the funny one.
But no, this one ended up being definitely the most tense this got. This went to 11 immediately,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it went very. I mean, I wouldn't say it was instant because I think there's like a minute where you can see it's about to go bad, and then it goes as bad as it can possibly go.
yeah,
Well,
pretty
almost as
much.
bad as it can possibly
Almost,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously there was one more step that could have
Yeah,
went, but and I have to say, as far as tense scene goes, that was some of the best tension I've felt
yeah,
all year. It
yeah,
was phenomenal, especially since this show, because it has. I mean, it's been very well written and very well done, but it's been very satirical, funny, kind of dark humor, all these kind of things, very kind of bitey. I never really expected it to give me something that rivaled like a tense scene in Breaking Bad,
right.
but that's kind
It's
of what
never
that
given
did.
you any reason to expect that the direction can pull that off.
But it did. It pulled it flawlessly, and
Yeah,
here's why it pulled it off flawlessly. Right. So what are we talking about? We're talking about this moment where all through the episode, Reggie. Obviously, we're focusing on him. He's with his group of friends. Lionel eventually shows up, but he's with Rashid, who's the one from Kenya. Which, by the way, he was cracking me up. There's
oh
something.
my God, so good.
Part of it obviously is the accent because it has this extra twist to it compared to everyone else. But it's like because he is from a different country, he has this weird kind of like he's black, but he's also not American, so he's constantly like, "Oh, you Americans are like." He has these
There's
little
a
extra.
handful of moments that crack me up. Like, so when he rescues him at the start and he was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's an emergency with your mother. He's like, oh, sorry if that was too far. And he goes, oh no, she died when I was young. So I knew there was
That's
nothing
funny.
actually wrong.
Because at
And
one
then
point it says he criticizes them getting into all these tense moments. He's like, "I'm going back to Kenya," but he
that
actually,
that was cracking me up. He was like, what do you like? And like, because he was like, you're just complaining about stuff. And they were like, we like breakfast food for dinner. I was like,
yeah,
do you
that
know
was
what?
funny.
I do like that. That's good. And they go in, they just go off on it. He just,
Because they are
oh,
complaining, they're constantly complaining about various things, um, and reason why I think 'cause what happens is eventually they go to this party. They try going to different things. They go to a movie. They go to this other like thing, tailgate party. I think it was,
yeah,
and they eventually end up at this party. That's what some of the other college guys are throwing. And it is mostly white folk. It's just some other black folk, but it's mostly white folk. It's a
yeah,
mixed kind of thing. It's not specific to anything really. And I think everything up until that point in the episode, yeah, we do see him complain a lot. He is talking a lot about various things and race, and they kind of criticize. They talk about Sam and like, she's got a white boyfriend and how that's kind of surprising to them. Because one of the things we see in the opening sort of like bit with the narration and the flashbacks is that he was always felt quite strong about this, and then when he met Sam and she was equally strong about it, he found like I think the narrator puts it as a sister in arms. I think was
yeah.
the phrase, maybe brother in arms. I'm changing it to sister because it's Sam, but like he sensed that he found that, and as much as I do think he has all those beliefs over the course of the episode, you really realise that the reason why he is so like hot tempered about it today, and the reason why he's constantly bringing this stuff up, is actually kind of this just jealousy that's in there because he well, even if he doesn't have like an actual attraction to Sam in that way, although I do think he does.
I think he does as well.
Yeah, even if it wasn't though, it's the idea that she seemed like someone who would never date a white guy, and all of a sudden she is. But on top of that, if he does have a crush on her,
It's that moment. I think it's Joelle that brings up who mentions that, it's kind of like it's been seen as like a white savior thing, and it kind of makes him feel like he's not good enough.
yeah, well, and it shouldn't be obviously, but
It
like
shouldn't, no.
yeah, that's
But
kind of this.
that's kind of how it's making them feel.
Yeah, that's how it's feeling to them, and because even she's like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe disappointing, but like
Yeah, it's just like if she wants it, that's that's good for her. It's kind
yeah,
of
it's
her
like
thing.
I think it comes as a surprise, but obviously she's like, yeah, I'll go with it, and it's the kind of thing where she'd probably get used to it, and it would be like a non-thing after a while.
I think the phrase that she used was, "If she likes it, I love it."
Yeah, yeah, which is a good phrase. And again, this was a very interesting thing to watch, them talk about that, because I think I've heard white people talk about an intergender, or not intergender, interracial couple. It is actually interesting, I think, from our perspective, to see like a black group of people talk about it from their point of view,
Yeah.
in a very natural way. I think I've maybe heard it in a joking way where they'll crack jokes about it, but this was a very like, no, this is an actual conversation about, our black friend suddenly has a white boyfriend. Like, how do we feel about that? How do we react to it? Especially,
how do we include him in our group?
Especially, exactly, and especially given that she is this character who does put out this, oh, we need to keep people woke, and we need to like be an advocate, and we need to, so like, given her character and what she puts out there, and then going around and doing this, it's kind of because it was a surprise in the first episode. It was almost like a little twist in the first, and it was something that was secret that was revealed to everyone. Through it. And there's that little moment where Reggie, like, some guy knows in one of his classes who's why he's like, yeah, I've got a secret white friend too, as he goes off to like help him with the game. It's this trivia game, this drinking
Tipsy
game,
trivia,
which he is dominating at. He is wiping the floor with the other team, and they're cracking jokes and they're all having fun. And I think the reason why, when it gets to the point in the party where there's a bit of tension and then eventually the security show up, the reason why all this stuff works so well is because everything else in this episode give you a full person. They don't give you someone who's because I think the danger with, arguably the danger with this show in general, if it wasn't written well, would maybe feel either preachy or like an after school special kind of thing, where it's like, oh, obvious example A is racially attacked by obvious example B.
It would be really easy to reduce all the characters to caricatures.
Yeah, it could feel like they're just made out of cardboard, but no, he's a real person. He has flaws, he has fears, he's feeling jealous about something, and we see that he's actually a pretty decent person. But he does have a little bit of a temper with certain things, and he does have these, he has ups and downs. He's a fully fledged human being.
Yeah.
So that is what makes the tension when the cop pulls out that gun. That entire thing is absolutely edge of your seat, and you are worried. Because honestly, I did not know if he was going to survive. Because I didn't know, is this going to be the big thing in the middle of the season that shakes up and that's what drives the plot for the rest of it.
That's it. I think it still might.
It still might, but
it's still going to be. I think if the first half was everyone reacting to the party, the blackface party, the rest of it's going to be reacting to this party.
Yeah, and again, something I loved about the escalation of this, because it's the guy he's friends with, it's the white college that he's a friend with, they're in class together, and it's after they've been winning, and there's a rap song on, and they're all kind of singing along, and of course the word pops up in the song, and the white guy just kind of like sings along to the song as it's playing. And Reggie just sort of says, don't say that, man. And he's even kind of smiling as he says it. He's just asking not to say it.
Yeah.
And I think what's really fascinating to me about this is, I don't think Reggie obviously didn't do anything wrong, right? And he said it in the most polite, nice, not attacking way he possibly could. But the white guy just couldn't accept the fact that he'd just been asked not to say it, and he felt accused of something.
Yeah, I think it's because, as far as, he was just singing the song along with everyone else. So it felt innocent. And, he wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't using it at anyone. He was just singing. He was joining in with them.
Yeah, he felt like he was doing nothing wrong. And obviously at that point, all he should really say, all right, okay, he's asked me not to say it, and that's his right to ask that. Quite frankly, it is, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it should be kind of accepted. But he doesn't. He feels attacked. It's kind of almost like a microcosm of like how anyone who, anytime there's a story about something happening and they're like, oh, political correctness is taking everything away from us and it's attacking us and we're all guilty of these things, and it's not about attacking someone. That's the thing, is like, some people feel if you say something like that to them, they feel attacked, like you're accusing them of being, because very quickly he's like, are you saying I'm racist? And it's like, no, he wasn't saying that, he was just asking you not to say it. That's all he said. But it escalates.
Yeah.
And
worth remembering, they have been drinking quite a lot.
They also have been drinking, yes. They've both been drinking. And but it starts to escalate out of nowhere. And I think Lionel actually is the one who calls the campus security. You see him kind of go through. So he sees that this is maybe going to go bad. Yeah,
because he has that moment where he's getting something. At first, I thought he was going to video it or something, for the paper. Like get pictures, because I thought that, but then it didn't really seem right.
No, it felt that, and I think that's going to add an element of guilt for him going forward,
Yeah,
which I think is interesting in and of itself. This whole idea that he can't even trust like calling the authorities for to come and do what they need to do. Doing that's actually dangerous,
yeah,
which I think is a very clear point there. But it escalates out of like almost nothing. It's just this very simple exchange, and he gets defensive and he can't accept that he's been asked this, and it keeps escalating, until there's some shoving, and that's when the campus security come in.
yeah. It's not even at that bad a level. You know, they're having a bit of a tussle, but it's not nothing serious still.
Yeah, like I mean, you absolutely would imagine that the crowd around them would stop
Yeah,
anything
they'll
from.
stop them in a minute. You know,
Yeah,
they'll all go and pull them apart. No one's landed. There's no serious punches or anything. It's a bit of a shoving.
but that's the thing. That's where I say, like, as soon as he asks, and not even as soon as Reggie asks, even though you kind of just from a TV point of view, you understand that it's probably going to go down this path. It's as soon as like the other guy can't let it go, you go, oh, this is about to go really bad.
Yeah,
Because we've seen Reggie kind of. With Gabe, with Sam's boyfriend, like in the first episode, he kind of pushed him a little bit, and he kind of acknowledged that he did push him, and he that was kind of his bad. He acknowledged he'd done that. Whereas this is like, no, this is the other guy fighting back, and this is again they've been drinking. You have this feeling this is not going to go well.
yeah,
The Reggie, not that he should give up, but like the idea that he's not going to like he has to keep fighting as well. That it's going to keep building up, and it's when the cop, as soon as the cop comes in, it's very tense. It's very because he's immediately because the moment he comes in, he says, "Are you a student here?" And right away, it's like because the other guy beforehand, right, who he's asked not to say the word, and he acts like a dick about it, right, because he feels like no, you shouldn't be asking me that because I'm not being racist, and that's not the point. Because I actually think that's a really good point that Reggie brings up when he's like, if I said all that about you, you wouldn't care, but that's the point. You don't have to care.
yeah.
That's the whole thing. Whenever someone brings up, well, if they can do that about us, we should do that about them. Well, no, because that's implying that things are equal. They're not equal. That's why we're in this mess in the first goddamn place.
Yeah, that kind of harkens back to the start of the episode.
Yeah,
With the flashback to the classroom.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the teacher's talking about all that stuff. But so this security guard, this campus police says, "Are you a student here?" And right away, it's like the distinction is clear. Now this is racism. Before that wasn't
immediate profiling.
Yeah, before that wasn't really racist. That was like the white guy got butthurt because he was asked because he felt like he was being accused, but he wasn't actually necessarily being racist. Whereas this is clear cut. Now this is absolute racism.
Yeah.
And
Especially as we've seen, he's like the smartest guy in there.
yeah, again, full fledged character, ups and downs. He's a fully fledged person, and yeah, he's the smartest guy in there. So that feels extra insulting on top of everything else. Obviously, he's like, why are you asking that? And it's actually the guy he's like just been arguing with who quickly jumps in and says, yeah, he's a student here. Like, this is my house. He's here. He's a guest.
Yeah,
like,
he's very good. He's clearly going. Look, like there's nothing wrong here. We were having a bit of a thing, but calm down.
That's the thing. I think for the rest of the scene, I think the key thing here is that the cop is the source of the aggression here from the rest of the scene. For everything else, for the rest, the guy he was fighting with is standing in shock and like in fear, the same way everyone else is. They're all onlooking.
Yeah, like he doesn't. He tries to stick up at the start, before it gets bad. But when it gets bad, you don't blame him for not doing anything.
No, he tries to de-escalate it as soon as the cop shows up.
Yeah.
And obviously, as it's going on, like, there's all these people with their phones up. You can see them all recording, and again, this is where it starts to feel like, oh, this is getting very real world here, and it's very similar to things we've seen a lot in the last couple of years. Not to say that it's not been going on longer than that, because it has always been going on, but because of phones with cameras,
hasn't it? Yeah.
It's because people have got cameras now, because we've got social media. It's a lot more public.
Yeah.
People are seeing that it's happening, not just that it was always happening, but now people are seeing it a lot more often.
Yeah.
And like, it gets very tense, and he cop demands for his ID, and I think someone says just give him the ID. It may have been Coco, I can't remember. Honestly, the scene was so tense, I can't remember who said it.
One of them from the background was just do it.
Yeah, someone said just give him the ID, just do it, do what he says to get through it. And
probably good advice, to be fair.
At that point in time, and again, this is the weird thing here is Reggie, like, it escalates more. He pulls out the gun because Reggie basically says, "No, screw you, pigs," and he just starts to walk as if he's going to leave, and that's when the gun comes out. Now, obviously, under no circumstance should Reggie be in this situation. He shouldn't be, but you're worried that his hot-headedness will
That's
make
it.
it worse.
So someone just saying to him, just do it, is probably the advice he needs
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, because it's not like it's not that no, you're in the wrong, Reggie. It's just no, if you don't do what he says, you might get shot. You have to
Yeah,
do what
yeah.
he
It's
says.
like just take this seriously. Yeah, it's like, look, we all in this room know
Yeah,
you shouldn't be being asked to do this anyway. When or maybe he should be asked for ID, but so should everyone else.
yeah. The other
You know,
guy should also be asked for ID.
yeah,
If he's going to
that
ask, he
that
should ask both of them. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be fair. But it's right. You're in this situation. This is bad. Don't make it worse. Just
Yes,
it's
pretty
like
much.
don't because you don't martyr yourself over this is kind of the idea.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think as soon as the gun comes out, Reggie realizes the weight of what's going on. Like because
Yeah,
his entire demeanor shifts. He is terrified. Everyone in the room is terrified. You the pit of
yeah,
your stomach. As watching this, you feel it in the pit of your stomach. This could
yeah.
go either any way.
I think that's what makes it so effective in the scenes. Like you genuinely don't know which way this is going to go.
You don't. Um, and I mean, admittedly, I think it would make the rest of the show have a very more depressing atmosphere if it went the really bad way, and it doesn't. But you're on the edge of the seat the entire time because he's like, I need your ID, and like, he's just like, okay, I'm reaching for my wallet. He describes what he's doing as he's doing it to make sure he knows this movement is to get the wallet
Yeah,
because he doesn't want to give him the excuse because you hear he moved quickly. No, he could have been going for a gun. Like that's what he's trying to avoid. He's
yeah.
describing. I'm reaching for my wallet.
He's thinking again. He's sobered up instantly.
Yeah, exactly. He's immediately sobered up. Like the
Yeah.
gun coming out has sobered him up immediately.
That adrenaline shot has just sobered him, and he's like, right, okay, I have to think now, not just say something stupid like he did before. Oh, not stupid, but going,
Yeah,
screw you, pigs.
and it makes the scene in the previous episode where he's watching the news report like it's just that's a actual fantastic bit of foreshadowing
It is, yeah,
with this, and obviously he pulls it away, and the cop gets it, and he looks at it, and then he's like, okay, right, fine, and he puts his gun away. He's like, this we never would have had to have gone through that if he'd just done what I asked in the first place, and it's a really backhanded comment because okay, he's right, but
but
you shouldn't have
shouldn't.
profiled in the first place. You started it, basically. Is
Yeah,
ultimately what I'm saying here. You
yeah, that's
started
it.
it.
He's if obviously this is he was drinking, he was whatever. And if he had just gone here, sure, here's my ID, would have been avoided, but he shouldn't have had to do that in the first place.
It's this really complicated thing where, yeah, he should never have been asked for that. He should never be in this position. But once you're actually standing there with a gun in your face, no, get out of it and then fight it later. Fight it when you're not actually going to be shot.
Yeah,
Like
that's usually good advice. Good advice for life.
pretty much. But no, it is very. I keep saying edge of your seat, but it was like I was so the pit of my stomach.
Yeah,
I felt almost sick. It was awful to watch, and I think what I really appreciate about the scene as well is I like you really get the feeling that every single person in the crowd feels what's happening. It's not just like the black people in the room who are like worried about what's going to happen to them, because everyone knows. Like even if the white people don't talk about it and don't admit that there's like an inequality going on, even if they normally argue, oh, things aren't that bad, racism's kind of dead.
this is it right in front of their face.
They feel it. They look terrified as equally as everyone else does. They know the injustice is happening in front of them.
It's probably one of the few times in the show that everyone is actually equal.
Yeah, they're
in
united
the
for a
crowd.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
For a moment, they are all equally terrified. And obviously the episode, and we've skipped over some stuff. We'll go back and talk about some of the other moments. But the end of the episode is Reggie on the floor crying. He's a broken man. He can't handle it. Like he's been putting, whole episode he's been like this. I mean, he's not a tough jock or anything like that, but he's kind of a tough guy. He talks a big game. He's constantly,
yeah.
he's and at the end of the episode you just see him on the floor crying. He's broken. This experience, yeah, he lived through it. But this has fundamentally changed him.
It was traumatic.
He came in, within an inch of losing his life for doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, arguably saying "screw you, pigs" when the police are asking him a question. Okay, that is maybe the one thing he did wrong, but it's not.
It wasn't warranted to get the gun. It was a stupid off the hand comment that, it probably was stupid to say.
Yeah,
in that scenario.
Yeah, like it does not deserve a gun being pulled on you.
Of course not. Of course it doesn't. It's a stupid comment. That's my point. Like,
yeah,
people say stupid comments all the time. It doesn't deserve a gun in your face.
Yeah, people say stupid comments to the police all the time.
They do. They
Yeah.
shouldn't really. I think just as a general rule, maybe don't say stupid comments to police.
No,
But
but at the same time, you can't really blame him.
no, you can't.
Because in the moment he is being profiled.
He is, yeah.
This is like the. They've not shown his entire life, but this might actually be the most direct racist act that's ever been committed towards him. Possibly, I don't know. It depends.
I think it probably is. I think, the whole episode is centered around, that it starts with this app that he's designed, woke or not, and the whole idea that he's talking about how aware he is of everything.
Yeah,
Obviously, we had it in the last episode with him watching it.
Yeah, because just to describe what this app is, it's basically it's kind of like if you remember, what's the Facebook movie?
Social Network.
Social Network, thank you. If you remember that movie, the first app in that he makes is hot or not, and it's basically just she's hot, she's not. This is basically the same thing where it gives you the two people on campus, and it's like, oh, woke or not woke, and the idea is it's rating people based on how aware they are of issues. So
right, and I think obviously he thinks of himself as very woke, like he's very aware, but I think this moment where he has to face it, face the reality of it himself. I think he's broken because he feels that he wasn't really aware before this.
Possibly
not to that extent they thought he was.
I think it's not so much so that he wasn't. I think he's as woke as you possibly could be without living through something like that. Like I don't think. I think what it shows, though, I think what it effectively shows is that everyone agrees that he's one of the most quote unquote woke people, right, on the college. Sam obviously being number one because she does a radio show.
Yeah, he was at like number 4 or something, wasn't he?
I think what that shows, though, is that it doesn't matter how woke you think you are. The fact that this still broke him, that he still was not prepared. It doesn't matter how woke you are, you're not prepared for that experience.
Yeah.
Even if you think you are, you're not. It's traumatic. It's just one of those things that you're never going to be prepared for. And I think this was an effective episode in a lot of ways. It was effective because it showed you the horror of this thing and how quickly it can just happen. Like how many people have lost their lives because the cop
because they made a stupid comment.
And some people do less than that. Like, yeah. I mean, you hear some of them where it's just they were literally, "Give me your wallet, sir." They go for their wallet. Oh, he was moving. Shoot. Yeah. Like some of them legitimately sound that bad. And it really shows the horror of that moment of this could go that way. It very easily could have went that way. And it's heartbreaking to watch. Actually, it's kind of. It's definitely the most not uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is not the right word, but it was the most where I felt it, like in terms of the tension this season.
Well, I think it's the whole time it's been it's been hypothetically talking about issues other than the party at the start. There's not been a lot of actual racism. It's just talking about it and telling us that everyone's aware of it. This is the first time the show we probably see it in the real world.
Yeah, because obviously the party's racist, it is, but it's a different type of racism to this. And as Sam pointed out in another episode, it all kind of leads to the next one because like this perception of black people is aided by people making jokes and being dismissive of all these things because it creates this overall idea, which then in turn is what the cops have got in their heads. And
of
so
course,
on
I'm
and so
not
forth.
dismissing the racist things that we've seen in the show up till now, but I think it's all been very contained to it. It's a college campus. It's kind of been
immature racism.
Yeah, it's been nothing. This is real world. Like this is as bad as it can get. So it kind of makes it seem light in comparison.
Yeah. Like I say, from the moment that escalation, and obviously there's moments where, like, because there's a moment where the guy's arguing with the white guy, like, says, "Oh, it always comes back to slavery," and that's like where he thoroughly crosses a line, where it's like, okay, no, you,
because he even says, "No, that was racist."
Yeah, Reggie even says that, but like that is no, you just crossed, like you're going so far to defend yourself because you feel for some reason like you have to defend this, when no one was actually saying. No, because even Joelle sort of chimed in after a couple of exchanges and said, no, he wasn't saying that, he just said don't say it, and we all learned something, and she tries to, like, no, we're fine, let's keep going, let's keep dancing.
Everyone tries to diffuse it, Troy tries.
And he just can't let it go, and that's kind of where it goes.
I think my only problem with this, or not problem, but I think I would have liked, is obviously once it gets bad, the white guy is instantly back on his side, right? He's like, no, he is very aware that this is wrong, and this.
You'd have liked him
tries
to
to stick up
apologise
for him.
afterwards or something
I
like
would
that.
have not
Yeah, I'd
necessarily
like that.
apologised. Just asked him if he was okay.
I mean, it would have been nice, obviously, if he'd tried to like ask him if he was okay or apologise. But even just a look of guilt,
yeah, just
like
something.
that was his. Like he started that. Everything he just did led to that.
Right,
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
felt like it was just missing a beat,
It'll be
and maybe
inter-
that'll come.
Yeah, maybe
after.
he'll pop up in like a future episodes, and maybe which we said Lionel might have this guilt because he called the security. Maybe he'll have guilt because
Yeah, maybe
he
at some
kind of
point he's
caused
going to
this.
come up and just apologize to him or something. Like it'll eat at him for a while,
It could,
and
yeah,
then we'll see it.
yeah, it could be the finale. Like, it could be like a moment in the last episode where he like maybe there's a moment where Reggie just needs someone to back him up, and he just steps out and backs him up, and it's like that. Like I could see
Yeah,
like I would hope that again, to use that word, I'd hope that he feels woke now. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if technically if the woke thing is something that the white people aren't allowed to, or not allowed, but like if woke is only if you're black and you have to be aware of your own problems, rather than like it's not about white people being aware of it necessarily.
yeah.
I mean, it could be, but I think the app was all for.
Yeah, we never saw any white people on it, did we? So we don't know.
Yeah, it was all about obviously like black people themselves ignoring it, and we got examples of that. We got that girl with the dog who is like really frivolous, and at one point she says, racism here? I can't believe it." And then Reggie goes like, "Yeah, I know, it's shocking." Like
Yeah,
it's like really deadpan.
He goes, "Yeah, I thought Obama was the end of all that."
Oh yeah, that was the line. Yeah, that cracked me up.
That's like, up till the moment, this was by far the funniest episode.
It was
because there was constant things like that I was proper laughing.
Do you know what I think though? I think that is what even more so makes it more effective, is because it shows how quickly it just turns to that.
Yeah. From the most light-hearted episode, fun episode to the one, it's the darkest moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that conversation after they got to the movies, and Lionel didn't want he wanted to go see something else, and they drag him to this stupid movie, and they're all making fun of it on the way back, and there's the Asian girls tagged along as well from earlier in the day, and she has a couple of funny lines about how at least you have lots of options to go and see movies with black people. I have like 2 movies in the last 20 years. And she does have a point. Like seriously, think of an American movie with an Asian lead from the last 10 years. I'll wait. Go on.
Oh no, I'll
take your time. I'm not saying it to you. I'm just in general. Like, go on, think of one. I dare you.
I mean, you've just asked for comments of people trolling IMDb to find them now.
Oh, they're going. Yeah, but like, are you going to find a major American movie that came out in theaters and was like relatively budgeted, like like a proper?
No, you're right.
And
this is why you should watch something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And that's why if you keep going back far enough, you'll get to your Jackie Chan and Jet Li, but they're imported stars. They were famous in their own countries first, and then they came over, and think of an American star that's Asian that was made in America in movies.
Think
of one.
I don't think I can.
You probably can. Bruce Lee, actually, technically, I think he's American. Obviously, comes from a Chinese family, but I think
is he?
I think he was half American. I could.
No, right, fair enough.
But even then, we're going back to the 70s to.
Yeah.
We're going back quite a far way. That's a tangent about the lack of Asian actors in movies, or leading roles specifically.
Yes.
But so just as someone who obviously talks about movies a lot and pays attention to movies, I appreciated this conversation. I was like, oh yeah, like this was all like kind of, just a subject I'm familiar with, as they were sort of going about it. That was another really subtle thing in the filmmaking. As they were leaving the house after the gnome, the sort of racist looking gnome that was out in the you just see it still lying there. Just a very very poignant little
it was.
But yeah, so you had that. Obviously you had Coco and Troy, who kind of were there at various moments. They're at the party, but they were also there earlier with the girl with the dog, and they were also kind of being like dismissive because Troy was pissed at them for the app. So I'm not woke, I've got this story.
Yeah. It's kind of like you're just causing trouble.
Yeah. You. So it was just it was all these different things. But again, at the end of the episode, when that gun was pulled out, everyone in that room was.
Yeah, they were all on the same page.
The cop was the villain. Like that.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not a question. Every single one in that room was on edge.
Like everyone was on Reggie's side. I think. I mean, that was the impression I got.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single person who.
If they swerve me, and in the next episode we get people saying, oh, if anyone would say, he did it to himself.
Even if they do, though, I would still argue that that's like, I still think in the moment they were on his side, but later on they're trying to say, oh, it wasn't as bad because he did actually bring it on himself, and they try to make themselves feel better. Like, it's kind of that thing where they'll try and be like, oh no, racism's not actually that bad. He did it to himself. I'll make myself feel better about this, so I don't have to feel like I need to help or talk to him or feel guilty or whatever. Like, again, it's like a coping mechanism in a really bad way in that sense.
But in that moment, it definitely, like, they were all terrified.
Yeah, everyone was terrified. It was, and even the douchebag, because remember, there's the douchebag with the longer hair that we've seen a few times comes up and he jumps in the conversation and makes it worse. He gets proper. He basically comes in and pokes the fire. He's like really bringing out some racist comments and like. I'd have loved a shot of him actually during the standoff. Standoff seems like a really, frivolous term to use on this bit.
Standoff almost makes it seem a bit more equal, doesn't it?
Yeah, standoff implies an equal, stare down between two guys. Yeah. So scratch that from the record. But like, during the tense moment, like if we'd got a shot of him looking terrified, I think that would have worked really well. Like even him, because he's been such a douchebag and such a prick. Like even he is like, oh no, wait a minute, this is crossing a fundamental line that's just I think this was a fantastic episode. I think anyone who watches this and doesn't get the point and doesn't get the message, seriously talk with people.
Pretty much.
Get a therapist.
Although how you
perhaps.
Could be this far into this show and not be getting the message.
That's the sad part. That's the sad part. The people who really, really need to maybe watch this and actually understand it are the people who just like, oh, this is racist, there's a show called Dear White People, and they just never watched an episode about it. Never watched a minute.
I'll tell you what, actually I found a little bit weird at the start of the episode. So it was all about, the kid who died.
The quarterback dude who died at the end of the last episode. Or episode 3, it was, I think.
Yeah, it was right at the end of that episode 3, I think. And, there was all these posters and everyone was like mourning him sort of thing. And the group kind of seemed a bit dismissive.
Yeah,
like they were going, oh yeah, it's never a black guy who gets remembered. It's like, yeah, but he did just die. I think it's kind of fair.
I think it was more a comment. I kind of agree. Actually, it was too much. Like there was this whole thing, and his face was up everywhere. It felt like too much to me.
I don't know. I feel like when someone dies in a school community, it is like that.
No one ever died when I was in school, so I can't really...
See, we had someone die when I was in school.
Oh, a big deal of it.
It was quite a big deal. It kind of goes on for a while.
Did you like that person?
Oh, I didn't know him that well, though. Yeah, you're above me. But
okay.
But like, it was just a case of you would kind of see posters like that, kind of like around the school for like 2 months. It was everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So. Fair. I mean, it never bothered me so much, that part of it. So no. Obviously, throughout the episode, Reggie's like checking his Instagram because Sam and Gabe have went to the was it the botanical gardens? I think it was.
Yeah, it was something stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what I thought was really funny though, because at one point it's like, oh, that's stupid. It's like a zoo without the animals, and then later on at the party when he runs into, and it's really awkward between Reggie and Gabe. Gabe says the same thing. Oh, it's like a zoo without the animals. And I thought that was a nice little touch. It was like, no, you two actually probably think a lot of the same things. You're actually a lot more similar.
Pretty similar people, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably a lot similar, but there's just this, because of these one or two fundamental things, you just see each other the wrong way.
That's it. No, that's very why they butt heads so much, because they are quite similar. Sometimes when you're too similar and you're on the same territory, because they're kind of both into Sam to various extents.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay, we've got a bit of a rivalry going.
One last thing I really enjoyed them saying, oh, that's Lionel in the queue, or maybe a black lesbian, or no, skinny black lesbian, I think the line was. But that was, Lionel trying to like avoid them and not talk to them was also very amusing.
It was.
Lionel cracks me up. Lionel's quite funny.
Him doing the pretending, it's like, hey, I was waiting for you all along. And they were like, shut up, no one can hear you. It's fine.
Yeah. No. And again, I think that's what made this so effective. They built a full character out of Reggie, fully formed, ups and downs, good qualities, bad qualities. He felt like a person with flaws, and because of that, he felt real. And that's when the gun came out, it felt the way it did. And on top of that, of course, all the humour as well.
Yeah, it was a light-hearted episode. There was lots of upbeat jazz. So, and then obviously it all stops in the moment. So just the idea that it was all pretty upbeat. It was light.
So we're probably in agreement this is the best episode so far of the show.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Fantastic episode. I cannot recommend it highly enough. The show is reaching heights that I didn't expect it, but like, you know.
Well, I think you just didn't expect it to do this.
This specifically,
it was good, like very good, like for those first 4 episodes, and then this did something more. Like it just went that step further that you didn't expect.
Maybe this is the sad state of affairs of the planet right now, but this did not feel forced in any way. It felt really natural the way this progressed.
Yeah, that is sad. Now that you put it like that.
It did, yeah. It didn't like the way it played out. It felt like, yeah, this
The
feels
fact
real.
that, when the cop comes in and when he pulls up the gun, you're not surprised. That's what's sad. I think you're not going, oh, this feels unbelievable. What or they're reaching for this. It's like, no, that probably would happen.
Yeah, it does. It genuinely feels real. And this is the weird thing. We try not to talk about serious political issues on YouTube, but obviously this show is poking at a lot of those things, and
it's impossible to avoid.
It's hard not to sort of relate them to real life and bring some real life into it, because this show very much clearly is a show with a message. And for the record, by the way, and again, the people who need to hear this aren't the ones who are A, making it 5 episodes into the show, and B, making it 5 episodes into a review series about it. But just because something has a message does not make it propaganda. Let me make that very clear. All good art should have a message, and not all art is propaganda. In fact, I would argue that no propaganda is art. If it's propaganda, that is officially
it ceases to be art.
Yeah, it's officially out of the art realm, because it's just got its purpose and nothing else.
Yeah, no, I think that's what you say. All good art has a message, and it doesn't matter what that message is. It doesn't matter whether you agree with that message or not. That doesn't stop it being art.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. That said, you should probably agree with the majority of the messages in this one.
Maybe not the best person.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think that applies when you're watching like something like a film that a neo-Nazi's made, and you're like, at least it's art because there's a message. I don't agree with the message. Like,
you can't take that away from them.
Oh, that just reminded me of the biggest laugh in the episode for me.
Go on.
Oh, it's the one guy shouts over, this is where we could learn something from the Germans, and everyone goes, what? And they all go quiet. It's like, no, they're educating about the dark past, not the...
Yeah, they educate the children, so everyone's aware.
So everyone's aware about Nazi Germany, not about the concentration camps. And then it's Joel's like, oh, good, because I was going to say.
Yeah, you can see everyone in the room go, oh.
And to be fair, he's actually got a valid point. Like, the point he's making is good. It's just...
If you educate people, they will learn, and it will stop being such a problem because people will be aware.
That was such a good moment.
Like, I think it works so well in this episode because the whole thing is about being aware of the problems, and that's saying Germany probably won't repeat their mistakes because they are aware.
Hopefully not. We'll see.
I'm saying that with a grain of salt, just in case something goes wrong there.
Yeah,
but.
The episode was 26 minutes, by the way. For the record, we are way past that. So, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we didn't get too political and opinionated as we went on there, but it's kind of hard not to when it's prodding at us this much. But by all means, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. Have a look what's on offer over there. But otherwise, guys, that is us. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.